Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Cousin
Connection Podcast.
We are your hosts, Sara Lee.
Amir Haroon, aka Amir was taken.
You love saying your
I
government
love saying
name.
it. Yeah,
You love it. We are back with another new episode, and we have a whole bunch of topics for you guys. So get comfortable, grab a snack, some tea, some coffee, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you know, kind of weird thing to bring up here. I know it's not part of our topics, whatever, but like how you mentioned, like, you mentioned your govy. Yeah. It's like, if you think about it, like, that's like such an old school mentality. I don't know if we've covered this before.
I feel like it's new school mentality.
Is it?
Yeah, because like back in the day.
Okay, maybe there was like two shifts then.
Yeah, because I feel like back in the day, like I had no problem putting like
no. What are you talking?
Yeah.
No, Sara.
No. And then now,
no. Remember when you first started on the internet? What would your parents always say? Don't put your real name out there. That's why you guys had like Baby Blue, Angel Baby Blue 56 or whatever.
You're right about that.
Like, you guys did not put your real names at all on the internet at first, and we were told specifically not to put our names on there. That's why everybody had a weird like gamer tag or like a weird social tag or whatever, because putting out your name was like such a like big no-no.
I mean, I don't know. Like, it just kind of...
No, and then because everybody wants to be a personality these days, Cludy doesn't, the same like that. But yeah, then everybody started putting out their real names. Right? Like, there are still stage names, but like, it's not really... People don't hold it back as much. Like, Gizman literally... Well, I keep saying Gizman. Aisha literally...
Why do you say Aisha?
What?
It's not Aisha.
What am I saying?
Aisha. No, Aisha.
Okay, whatever. You guys keep telling me this. Nah.
Huh? Aisha. There you go.
I said it.
You said Aisha. But
whatever. Okay.
We'll accept it.
But like, she literally changed her name from Aisha Abdul to Aisha Haroon.
That's true.
Because like, you want your name to be out there these days, right? I feel like it's better for marketing and all that stuff. Like, of course, there are people who still... I think like a lot of the... old school guys still kind of keep that. Like, The Rock is still known as The Rock, even though like some people call him Dwayne Johnson, but like his main thing is The Rock.
But I think that
what?
Well, so
did you lose your train of thought?
What else?
Yeah,
Aisha Haroon is sort of like her stage name too, though.
But it's her actual name.
Brand name too.
Yeah,
our brand name is Cousin Connection Podcast.
I guess so, but like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but putting out your govy like that isn't really like a big issue these days, unless you're like into some stuff. It's like, what are we into? Exactly, right?
True. You're right.
But yeah, this is just a weird thought that came up there. So welcome back, guys, to episode 40 of the Cousin Connection Podcast.
I can't believe.
I know.
You know what else? You know what I also realized? Yeah. Our 1 year anniversary.
I was about to say, yeah.
It's coming up. You know when?
You can't check on YouTube because I started posting way after on there. You can probably check on like, you can't even check on Red Circle because I
can check on Anchor.
Yeah, you can check on Anchor when our first day is.
We have to mark that, and we're gonna have a special episode that day.
We're probably not gonna have a special episode. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we are. Why not?
Because it's gonna be like around Ramadan. We're gonna be way too tired.
April 28th.
That's literally at the end of Ramadan. Eid special coming your way.
Maybe we'll do like a live again,
Okay, yeah, we could do something like that.
An exciting one.
Yeah.
I don't know how exciting it's going to be, but
yeah, I don't want to make any promises right now. Just say
we'll hype it. We'll hype it up now.
Yeah.
So that we can
put pressure on us to actually do something.
Exactly.
Okay. We'll see. We'll think about it, guys. Now my feet are getting cold when
I know.
open the window.
I'm cold already.
Okay, but let's get into the thing. So, as you know, we have a little bit more energy this week. We were kind of dead last week, and mainly because of jet lag. Jet lag was like destroying us, and it's still like somewhat. We still have some of the remnants or the effects of it.
How bad was it for you?
At first, like, I was just sick because I think there's something on the food on the plane that we ate, which had my stomach just bubbling out for the week. Yeah, bubbling for the week. I took some pills, and then for like a few days, I literally didn't go to the washroom.
Yo.
Yeah, remember I told you like there was like 2 days where I didn't go to the washroom.
That's messed up.
But now like at least that's sort of figured itself out. But like I'm still knocking out at 10 p.m. And you're saying that you're falling asleep at like 4 p.m. or something like that, right?
Not 4 p.m. So alhamdulillah, I have the flexibility with work where I can afford to take naps in the middle of my work day.
Hopefully none of your workers are listening to this.
No, my manager knows. I told her already. She's cool about it. But by like 2:33 2:30 between 2:30 p.m. and 3 p.m. I'm like struggling to focus. Like, you know, when you're so tired that your vision starts to get blurry.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. And so I was telling her, and she's like, you should take a nap. And so I started doing that like all this week. So now it's like my body's used to taking a nap at like 3 p.m. And then I would wake up at 4.
Yeah.
Work until like 5:30 or 6 p.m. And then by 6 p.m. I'm like struggling to stay awake again.
Really?
Yeah. So I'll take like an hour or 2 nap, wake up, and then go back to sleep again at 10.
But don't you feel like you have to fight the jet lag so you can get yourself back onto the proper rhythm?
See, so the one day I didn't take a nap at 3 p.m. By 6, I was like, there is no way I can last until 10 p.m. today.
You didn't
or
think
even
like,
9.
let's get some coffee in me or anything
Not
like
at
that?
Time. 6 p.m.
Yeah, why not? I
literally
take but you're talking to the guy who gets a coffee at 6 p.m. every day.
Oh, see,
because I go to the gym after, right?
I can't do that. So then I was like, you know what? I can afford to take an hour nap. It's fine. So I told my dad, like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to take a really short, like, quick power nap. Just wake me up in an hour. 7:15 max, like an hour 15, you know? No big deal. So I did the reckless thing where I didn't set an alarm.
Yeah.
And I put my phone under my pillow. It was on silent.
Why would you, like, you sabotage yourself before you
No,
even...
but I had it on vibrate.
Okay.
So I went to sleep, and this is how I knew I set myself up for failure. I closed all of my blinds.
Yeah.
And I turned on my sound machine, heavy rain sound.
Yeah. Why? So you did set yourself up for failure.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to have like a really productive nap. You know, like I want to fall asleep right away.
Yeah.
So he called me at 7:15. Did I hear it? Did I feel the vibrations? No, nothing.
Isn't he in the same house as you?
Yeah, he didn't come. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he tried to wake me up.
Oh, okay,
I have no idea. I don't remember. Then all of a sudden, like I can feel my phone vibrating like for like a good 2 minutes straight. So I'm like, oh shoot, it's my alarm. Let me go turn it off. So I go to turn it off and I see your dad's face on my phone. So I was very confused. Like,
oh, my dad was calling you?
Yeah. So
he might have been calling you because he tried to call me first.
So I was like, huh?
Yeah.
What's going on? Then by the time I was about to answer, he hung up the phone.
Yeah.
Then I see 4 missed calls from my mom. So I was like, oh shoot. What time is it?
Yeah.
Then I see 10:45. So I'm like, oh shoot. Like, so I call your dad back.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, and he like, imagine you just waking up from like a foggy nap and he's asking me about the Switch Health thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I was like, don't worry, you don't have to do that. But like, okay, I'll send you the link, whatever. And I was helping them with the Arrive Canada app because my mom was coming back a week later and she needed help with that. So I talked to them for like 5 minutes and then I checked my phone, looked at all the missed like messages and stuff. And then I really had that moment of like, should I stay awake or should I just go back to sleep?
Yeah.
Because I just knocked out for 4 hours. Then I thought about it for like a minute and I'm like, you know what? I went to the bathroom, washed my face, did my skincare, brushed my teeth, and went right back to bed. And then I slept until 4 a.m.
Was your watch on you the whole time? Like your Apple Watch?
Oh, was I wearing it? Because normally when I get a call, it rings on that too, but for some reason it didn't. But then I went back to sleep. I woke up at... Have you been waking up every day at 4? Because I've been waking up every single day at 4 a.m.
No. I've been like... At this point, I'm fine. Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'll sleep perfectly through the night.
I woke up at 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, like I still have work tomorrow, like today. I can afford to sleep a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I went back to sleep, woke up at 6. And at this point, I was like, all right, I slept for 12 hours. Like, enough is enough, you know? So I got out of bed and just decided to clean my house at 6 a.m.
At 6 a.m.?
What else was I going to do?
Wasn't everybody else? Oh, no, your mom's in Ethiopia.
My mom's in Ethiopia.
Your dad's probably...
It was Friday.
Oh, okay.
So I just decided to clean. Yeah. And it was great. It was very productive. And then I finished by like 7:45. I had enough time to like actually make a breakfast.
So you were like, now I know why people wake up early in the morning.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, I should do this more often.
Honestly, like that might be your like beginning into being a morning person, or like your start of being a morning person. Just don't fix your sleeping schedule and start waking up at 6 a.m. every day.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can go to the gym in the morning.
I actually...
Because you start at like 9 o'clock, right?
Well, I could start whenever.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm thinking of I'm going to start work earlier, finish work earlier, and go to the gym earlier, like around 4:30, 4:45.
Oh, no.
Why?
Like, I don't know what has changed in the past.
Everyone's at the gym.
Everyone's at the gym.
Like, stop. Stay fat.
Yeah. No.
No, but like,
I'm gonna make that just a clip. Not
no, I'm just kidding. But like, I want to go to the gym, and like everyone's there using the machines, and it makes me so angry.
There's almost no room in the gym these days. Like, the only reason I'm able to somewhat still complete my workouts is because I have the knowledge and experience to be able to modify on the go, like make changes on the go. So like if a machine is taken, I know 5 other machines that can do the exact same thing, are just different ways of doing it, if that makes sense.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I could go in the morning, but it's just so much more effort.
Yeah, the morning is probably your best bet at this point. No, but honestly, like jet lag did affect me. Even like when I say I'm good, like I'm good in the sense that it won't be so early where I feel like falling asleep, like 8 o'clock or like 6 o'clock, something like that. But I still can't, like before I used to be able to stay up till 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, no problem.
Yeah.
But now over here, like yesterday, I was literally playing a video game just to keep myself awake.
Yeah.
Because I think I was like uploading, or I was doing something in the background. I needed to stay awake. And this is something interactive where you're literally like making movements as you're going. So you have to use your brain.
Right.
And I still fell asleep midway through it.
I mean, I showed you my screen.
Oh, yeah.
When I got here.
Okay, that one, no, but TV shows are like a go-to for falling asleep.
But this show is so like, it's not a boring show.
Yeah. You didn't even make it past the intro.
I watched a full episode, and then that was the second one.
Oh, okay.
But I literally, like, opening credits 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
It was paused because I fell asleep. Fail.
Yeah, and hopefully you have like the nighttime screen on there or whatever, the one where it changes the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't, it can affect your sleep cycle, like how you sleep, if you get into REM sleep and all that. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, that's why it's always recommended. Like, it truly does make a difference. Like, I have a watch now. The reason I asked you if you have a watch on the whole time, because I really like tracking data in general, and especially sleep data, to see like how I slept through the night, and what I can do to improve it. Like, I've literally made changes to how I sleep to see, because of the data that I got back from it. That's why I think it's important to sometimes just track your sleep maybe for a week, see if it needs improvement, and what you can do.
My sleep definitely needs improvement. And I think one of the main things is using my phone right before bed. Yeah,
using your phone right before bed is like a big no-no. Usually what I do is I'll read a book.
But you know what I did do? Let me show you this cool thing. I'm sorry, I don't know if I could. Maybe I can like screen record it and you can upload it in the background. But what I did was, so on the iPhone, you know how like you can change it to night mode. Yeah. And it like makes it like this. Yeah. So I was like, this isn't enough. I need to make it darker. So then I did this thing where I can literally do that and then do that, and it becomes really dark. You
can also make it black and white.
Yeah, but
do you not like making it black and white?
No.
No, making it black and white is really good. Like mine, when it comes around my sleep time, my original sleep time was like 12:30 or something like that.
Like
and
after midnight?
Yeah, after midnight. That's late. I know it is late, but like, you know,
that's late.
I only need 6 hours of sleep. If I have 6 hours of sleep, I get a 90+ score on my sleep, which is pretty good. Because just everybody's body is different. Mine only needs 6 hours.
Like, I'm like a newborn baby. I need like 12 hours of sleep.
Yeah, but you might find that might not be ideal. Like, I found that 6 hours is ideal. Yeah, exactly. So there's an ideal amount of sleep. Like 6 to 8 hours is pretty good.
Yeah, 7.5 for me.
I literally, my body physically can't get up to 8 hours of sleep. Like I'll start to get irritated, and it shows up on my score.
Or like
if I get more than 8 hours, if I get more than like 7+ hours of sleep, score goes straight down to like 70, 60, something like that. So that's why I like tracking my sleep as well.
What do you track it on?
My Fitbit. I keep it on 24/7.
Mine. My sleep goal is 8 hours. So when I actually sleep, because my watch or my phone will tell me if I'm like, it'll know I'm using it, right? Yeah. It'll be like, it'll tell me like, good job, you slept 8 hours. But maybe I should change it to like 7 or 7.5.
Yeah, but that it's never going to be accurate if you're just using your phone. Because
why?
If you have your watch while you're sleeping, are you saying with your watch while you're sleeping, or just
no? Yeah, most of the time I sleep with my watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then that will help. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, jet lag definitely was a big factor in why we had little energy last week.
You know what I realized?
What?
It's because we haven't left. Like, we went to the States, but we haven't gone outside of North America in how many years?
Exactly. And I was
So-
surprised too. I thought, oh, it'd be like when I go to LA.
Yeah, right.
But nah, it's not the same at all.
LA is 3 hours.
Exactly. It's not the same. I don't know how Gizman is doing.
Yeah, hers is bad.
Yeah,
It's
hers
like
is 11 hours. Exactly.
Mhm.
So I feel like that would be even more gnarly, honestly. But, you know, now we're doing good. Hopefully, Sara's still sort of feeling effects. That's why we have coffee on us today.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I kind of asked for the coffee.
I should have gotten it. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I should have thought. But I was like, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, but hopefully we give you guys a little bit more energy this week.
Yeah.
But one thing I definitely didn't like coming back to was the weather.
Oh, my God.
Like, I honestly thought, okay, we'll be gone for 2 weeks. It'll be March by the time we get back.
Mm-hmm.
Weather will be, like, on the up, right? I feel like this is probably the worst winter we've had in Toronto, like, in a long time.
I think that, did it start off slow? Did it snow in
it started
December?
off, like, pretty quickly. Like, we had snow by December, I believe.
Oh.
And before, I think there was the year before, or a couple of years before, we never had snow until, like, literally the new year.
Yeah. Like, I find that normally when it doesn't snow in December, that's when we get a lot of snow in March. But this time I feel like we've had snow for, like, the full 4 months.
Yeah, we've had snow almost every week at least once. And like we've had like sometimes you might get a break. Like there was that one random day when we got back on like Monday or something.
Oh, yeah, it was like nice.
Yeah, it was like nice 8 degrees or something like that. And then it just plunged the next day. So
I
it
wore
gave
a
you
leather
little bit of
jacket.
hope. Yeah, see,
Like-
I don't wear jackets to begin with when I go outside. So I wear a windbreaker, which is you can call that a jacket.
Barely.
Yeah, I wear that, but I just wear like a hoodie. Honestly, if you have a hoodie out here and you have a good windbreaker to like just break the wind literally, then you're pretty much golden out there and you have a good hoodie. Yeah. But like it's been so long that like now the TikToks I'm even getting are like people saying I left the city but because of how bad the winter's been. Like good idea.
We did that though.
No, I mean like left the city as in never coming back, like moved away. Yeah.
Oh.
There are people literally moving away from the city. And it makes sense because you think about it. Why would you stay here? It costs like how much to live here? You have to be a millionaire at this point.
Have
to
y'all
live in
seen
this
the
city.
gas prices?
Yeah, the gas prices are
I
high.
would just walk.
Yeah, like there's less and less reason to live in Toronto, and let alone Canada.
I feel like most people stay here because their jobs are here.
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of trapped in a way.
Yeah.
But if people have the option to move away, they're gonna do. Like now, there's less reluctance to doing that.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, nah, it's not even worth it anymore. Like the ups are not there anymore. Like the pros versus the cons aren't really balancing out.
You know, I saw a TikTok of this guy doing this experiment, and I mean, it kind of got taken a little far because the police was called and stuff. But he was basically trying to take a stance by moving out of his apartment and moving into his
I saw that guy. Yeah.
Did you? I read up on that. Because at first I'm like, now why would he go and do that? And I realized it's because he was saying like companies are profiting off of you working from home. Like although we see the benefit of working from home because you don't have to commute to work, they're saving on electricity. I don't know about rent because I'm pretty sure they have to keep their buildings open anyway. But like they're still saving money, cleaners, food when they have to feed you at work and all that stuff. So I thought it was interesting that he decided to try
move
that.
in. Yeah, he only lasted 4 days, but
yeah, whatever.
It was an interesting series to follow.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
But he was kind of wilding too. He was kind of doing stuff that
he was.
It was like, okay, if you were like quiet about it, sure. But he was definitely like
posted it
pushing
on
it
TikTok.
he was pushing it to the limits.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think he also mentioned like they're literally paying me, like not enough to live in the area that the job requires me to be at. If that makes sense, right? So why not just move there and move into my workplace? Because it makes sense. There are people, if the company can get away with paying you less, even though you can't live in that area, like they're gonna do it. So yeah, that was definitely an interesting series to follow. And I don't know. There's just people are, but not everyone can move to a warmer climate. That's the thing, right? Like it would be nice. It would be nice, exactly. And hopefully global warming speeds up a little bit. I'm playing. Nah, because really, honestly, global warming will affect us negatively. Like we might get longer winters.
Exactly.
So global warming itself, or I should really be saying climate change, if that makes sense.
I saw an article saying that Canada, or I guess Ontario, could start to see 6-month-long summers.
Well, hopefully. Well, we only get like 2-3 months now.
Yeah.
And like that's like 2-3 months of like somewhat good weather if you're lucky.
True.
If it rains a bunch, like if you're in Ethiopia, you know for sure you're not going to see a lot of rain. But out here, like there's even in the summers, you're still going to see rain, unfortunately. So it's, I don't know.
Our summers aren't even that nice. It's very humid.
Yeah.
Like May and June are the good months. Mm-hmm. Once it hits July, you're like, get me out of here.
Yeah, and then August is... No, actually, no. July is good. What are you talking about?
Sometimes.
I was thinking more August. August is really when it starts to kind of teeter down. Or like...
August, September.
Second half of August and beginning of September is where it starts to like teeter off a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that's also because we're kind of used to the... I don't know, are you still kind of like in the school mindset when it comes to what summer is? Like you think June because school used to finish at June?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but really, I think summer starts earlier than that, no?
It's June 21st.
Is it June 21st?
Yeah. And then fall starts September. Yeah, September to
Okay,
November.
then maybe we're just following the school mindset, but also because that's how summer actually falls in place, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the weather's just, it's sucky. It's not fun.
We want to go back to Africa.
Yeah. Would you go back to, like, because if you think about it, at this point, you probably have, I don't know if you've saved enough at this point, but like, I probably have the opportunity to go to Ethiopia and like, maybe start on a business of some sort. Like, maybe I need to know the language a little bit more.
Let's go.
But would you do it if you had the opportunity?
Hell yeah, I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
And live there exclusively. See, that's where your mind changes.
Could I travel?
Yeah, technically you could travel. It's going to cost you money.
Yeah.
But when you're starting a business, you're going to have to stay there for a few years to get it off the ground.
Years? I thought you meant months.
No, you're going to have to be there for a few years. You really need to be, because you know how business works in Ethiopia.
Yeah,
like if you're not there,
yeah,
you're going to get screwed out of it. Someone's going to be sitting doing barcha for half the day with your money. I mean, unless you're there getting them up and like making them do the work.
Remember that one episode where we talked about like whenever you travel...
What?
You have the mentality of like, I could live here.
Yeah, you're having that right now with Ethiopia.
But I was like, I can't live here.
Yeah, see? But the weather sort of had me thinking like that for a bit.
Yeah, like I think I could do like a bi-coastal type of thing, like a couple months here, a couple months there.
Yeah.
But to live there for a couple years, like exclusively?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's what's going to require if you really want to have a successful business out there, right? Unless like someone hands it to you, which... depending on your family can happen, but it's very rare.
Or like if you have someone there that you trust, that you're in constant communication with.
Exactly.
That can be like your
liaison.
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a cousin connection.
Older, exactly.
Pop up something.
Yeah.
There. I don't know.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll make it work. But another thing that happened while we were in Ethiopia, like it literally popped off while we were in Ethiopia, was the whole Ukraine war, Ukraine versus Russia war. Well, it's really like an invasion of Ukraine. Yeah. It's not really a war. It is a war, but like it's more. It would be more appropriate to call it an invasion,
right?
And it was interesting. Like, I don't want to get into the whole politics of it, but the reaction to it was really what interested, I think, us in general, like our community. When I say our community, I mean like the Muslim community and the ethnic community, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people were calling out how it was covered compared to what has been covered historically with the Palestinian war or the Palestinian occupation exactly, and what's happening in places like Yemen or what's happening in places like
just Muslim countries in general.
Muslim countries in general.
Yeah,
like how all the reporters were coming out saying like, I can't believe this is happening in a civilized society. Like this, they were using those words, right?
Yep.
And literally at one point there was a host.
There was one reporter where he was like saying that he was choosing his words carefully.
Yeah,
but
that was the same guy who said the civilized.
Yeah.
But there's a woman who said like, these are white people. Like she literally said white people. And she continued like I don't even think she either understood what she was saying.
Oh
like
no.
that's how ingrained the racism is.
Yikes.
Right, where it's not even voluntarily, like they're not doing it out of malice or anything.
Yeah.
It's just so part of their thought process that they don't even think about how what they're saying can be racist or can be seen as racist.
That's messed up.
Yeah, and the thing is that I think we want to make it clear is that we're not saying that what's happening to Ukraine is wrong. I mean, we're not saying that what's happening is not wrong.
Acceptable, yeah.
Yeah, it's not acceptable. But we're saying that like the coverage should be equal on exactly what's going on. But okay, what were you gonna say? Go ahead.
No, I want to hear what the rest of what you were saying.
Okay, but I'm not gonna act like it's how should I even say this? Like, I can't really put the blame completely on them because, like, if it was happening, let's say to our people, like, we would cover it with bias as well.
Yeah.
Right? If it happened to people, because we can relate more to them. We see our family members in them, right? So I feel like it's a similar thing. So even though there is some racism in that and how they're covering it and stuff, it's like, can you blame them? You can't blame them, but can you blame them? Really?
I mean, I think it goes back to, you know, when we spoke about what was happening with the Uyghur Muslims, the issues in Palestine. Like I remember bringing up, like, why aren't celebrities talking about it more? Like certain celebrities are, like, you know, the Hadid sisters, for example, because they're half Palestinian. Yeah. They spoke about it because that's their people. They can relate to it. And I remember you brought up that point of, unless, like, for some celebrities, depending on their brand, a lot of times they won't speak up against something unless they personally can relate to it. Yeah. But it's interesting here because I know not all these celebrities are Ukrainian, but they're still speaking up against it. I saw multi-billion-dollar companies pulling their services from Russia in support of the Ukrainian people. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's like it's the reaction to it. And I think it really just exposes the fact and like that the world is racist.
No. It's not that it's racist. It's that the world is run mainly by ethnically white people.
Whites.
Yeah, whites. But like that's how this it is. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's just how it is at this point. Yeah. So the reaction is going to be a lot more aggressive towards two white countries, technically white countries, in conflict with each other than someone they can't relate to or someone they have no real interest in, like a ethnically different country, if that makes sense.
But I also think, you know, when you think about it, Israel has a really good relationship with the United States of America. Russia doesn't. Russia's like the common enemy for a lot of countries in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's easier to speak up against Russia than it is to speak up against Israel. Yeah. So there's also that too.
Yeah, and there's actually a YouTuber that I follow. It's weird because like I like following people that I disagree with a lot.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because it's good to have like to hear the other opinions or just to have people with completely different opinions than you because it keeps you somewhat. It continues to let you think critically. Like if you're listening to people or following people that only have your views. Yeah. Then eventually you're going to stop thinking critically and you're going to just kind of go with the flow and listen to what they have to say and not think about what the other side has to say about it. But there's a YouTuber called Sneeko. He's a New York-based YouTuber, and he has a lot of like very, I guess like male-centric videos. And he's like calling out feminists and all these kind of things. Like very like... He has a very old school, I guess you can consider an old school mentality, but I do agree and a lot of times disagree what he has to say. But he came out with a video recently about Ukraine where he literally just went up to me and was like, do you care? And why do you care about Ukraine? Right? And then the people who are trying to make a point is like why they should care about Ukraine versus everything else that's been going on. Like, why do you care about Ukraine, but you don't care? But at the same time, did you care about like what was going on with Black Lives Matter? Did you care about what was going on in Palestine? Yeah, he didn't mention like Palestine and all those things, but he did mention Black Lives Matter at one point. But yeah, he was trying to. I think he was trying to do it to make a point of like calling out people like they don't really care. They're just doing it because it's what's popping now, literally what's popular right now. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what it is at this point. And then also because of the fact that it's people most of the world can relate with, at least most of the Western world can relate to.
So you feel like there are a lot of people who care because it's cool and popular to care?
Yeah, because what's happening now, and because they can relate to it more. That's why they didn't care as much when like what was happening in Palestine.
But it's essentially, if you think about it, Ukraine is being occupied and being taken over by Russians.
Yeah.
What happened in Palestine?
Well, that you can't. Yeah, like it's very hypocritical that like literally Israel itself was calling out Russia when they're doing the same thing in their own backyard.
Right.
But you can say the same thing about America. You can say same thing about Canada. Like they all have this like skeletons in their closet. Some of them not even skeletons, real bodies are still alive and well that they're still oppressing.
That's true.
And also calling out these people. And like that's why it's really all gray. There's no black and white. Everybody is trying to, at least on the internet, I can see that a lot of people are trying to pick a good guy and a bad guy. Like there can be one person that's maybe more bad than the other in some sense, but then you can make the same point on the other side of the fence, like why this team is bad. So it's really all gray. There's no good guy. There's no bad guy. This is all politics. It all comes down to money, territory, and all that. And all that plays into it. So it's all gray.
I don't think the actions are gray though, because what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Some people are looking at it as who has done more right and who has done more wrong.
But they can justify their actions if they, on their side they think they're the good guys. Well, in Russia's sense, I feel like it's more of the government who believes they're on the right side.
Yeah.
Because essentially, if people don't know about what's going on, just kind of like break down a little bit. Ukraine wanted to join NATO, and Russia was vehemently against that because NATO is it's basically a collection of all of the North American countries and a lot of European countries who are basically like, we got your back if anything happens to you. That's what NATO is. They're being like, if anyone attacks you, we'll use all our armies to help you. That's what NATO is. And Ukraine was like, we want to join y'all. And Russia's like, nah. And the reason Russia said nah is because if Ukraine were to join NATO, then NATO would be at the border of Russia.
Oh.
So if let's say at any time in the future, like they wanted to invade Russia, they could use Ukraine as a port to just go directly over the border. So they want to kind of create a barrier of land between them and NATO, so that so there's no easy way to funnel their troops into the country. Because if Ukraine was part of Russia, they could just funnel their troops through Ukraine, just drive over the border.
Right.
Which and it would be such a large landmass that it's hard to control. So the least amount of countries you have that are directly next to Russia that are part of NATO, the better for Russia. So they're working in their own interest as a government. See, so that's what I'm talking about as a gray area. Of course, what they're doing is wrong. Yeah. By just joining them. Or not joining them, by invading Ukraine.
Preventing them from joining.
But Russia's making the point of like, well, you're putting us between a rock and a hard place. It's like, if you want us...
I guess, if you want to put it like that, yeah.
So that's the thing. There is wrong and there is right. But there's wrongs and rights on both sides, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's not so black and white. Like, something that I would think is more black and white that really should have been called out and that hypocritically is not being called out is what happened in Palestine and in Israel. Yeah. That is a very black and white, in my eyes at least.
No,
and
I
maybe
agree.
It's because I'm biased. Or maybe because we're biased.
I don't think we're biased at all, though.
Exactly. I'm just making that like devil's
advocate.
We're
not Palestinian. We're not Israeli. We're if anything, we're an objective point of view.
Yeah. So that's why I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. Can you use the statement devil's advocate?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, let's say like, I'm just putting that out as a devil's advocate, like maybe because there's a hint of bias or something, but really in my eyes, it's black and white. But this Ukraine and Russia thing, let's say it's more like it's gray, but like it's.
You're saying it's gray because Ukraine wants to join NATO for their benefit. Russia wants to stop them for their benefit. And now they're kind of at a war.
Yeah. And the reason I say it's gray is because all these countries who are against Russia are either currently doing those things or have done them in the past consistently. and it's more of the what do you say the first thing that I said? Yeah, it's more of the first thing I said where it's currently going on because like I don't know, America is currently providing weapons to Saudi Arabia, who's currently bombing Yemen.
True.
So like it's just all hypocrite. It's all hypocrites on both sides. Which is why I hate the fact, what I want to call out is the fact that the internet's trying to choose a good guy and a bad guy.
That's all they can do, though.
Yeah.
That's like the thing with the internet is that depending on the type of information that you're consuming, or not consuming, what's the word? Consuming?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Depending on the type of information, you're either getting extremely biased info that's super one-sided, or extremely biased info that's very extreme on the other side.
Yeah,
so.
And that's also a pretty interesting side of this, is that because both sides of this conflict have such the latest technology, it's also an information war.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Palestinians don't have the same hacking ability as Russia does.
Yeah.
Or even like propaganda ability as Russia did. And same thing for Palestine versus like Ukraine or any other country. And now they're kind of equal on that level when it comes to propaganda and what can be misconstrued. That's why now it's very hard to believe anything that comes out for both sides, for both sides of this conflict. Like I think there was a quote that I heard in a podcast recently where it's like when in the time of war, information, truth like disappears or something like that. I need to find the quote. Maybe I'll put it up or something. I can't remember it now. But essentially, when in a time of war, the truth there is no real truth. Like no one will know the real truth, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because both sides are going to try and make the other side look as bad as possible.
Yeah. That's their whole objective.
Exactly.
Because they want the rest of the world on their side.
Exactly. So it's hard to believe anything that's coming out of there. But yeah, that was just something I wanted to bring up that happened while we were in Ethiopia. And it was interesting because when you ask people in Ethiopia, they're like, we don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like, low-key, I think the Ethiopian government's siding with Russia.
Exactly. Because Russia, I believe, helps or is on Ethiopia's side for the most part.
They have the similar... I mean, I don't know if they have the same
similar
government.
interests. Their interests align.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it comes to, like, that whole dam that Ethiopia is building and stuff. Like, Russia's interests and Ethiopia's interests align in that sense. Because essentially it just goes against all the other teams.
That's true. You want to take a break here before we continue?
Yeah. So, hopefully that was interesting for y'all. We're just going to take a quick break here.
We will be back with more content.
Bye. And we're back.
That was a clean clap.
Yeah. So nice. The what do you call it again? The syncing on this is better be perfect.
It better be.
Okay, so something else that came up that I think we were supposed to bring it up last week, or I wanted to bring it up last week because we were talking about like maybe I wrote it down last week, but we were talking about how crazy the driving is in Ethiopia. And there's actually a crazy story or something that happened to you when you went to Ethiopia back in 2016, right?
Yeah. No, not 2016.
Oh, was it not?
This was in 2002.
2002?
Yeah.
So you were young.
I was 9.
You were 9. Okay.
So basically, let's set the scene, okay? It's 2002. If y'all have ever been back home, do you remember those really old school like buses that would drive from like Addis to the other cities? Anyway, so we were supposed to be going from Addis to Diredoa. We're driving in the middle of the night. I'm sleeping on my dad.
You weren't going to Diredoa?
Yeah, I was.
Nazareth?
No, we had to stop there.
Oh, okay.
I'll get to the reason why. But we were driving there, and basically what happened was in the middle of the night, we got into a big accident. And basically what happened was we were on a bus, and then there was in Ethiopia they have these like van taxis where I think they fit like 12 people in there, right? Or 12 or 15.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to fit like probably 8 or 9.
It's supposed to fit like 8, but somehow like 12 people can fit in there.
Exactly.
There was one coming from the opposite side of the road. The driver was drunk, and so he somehow steered into the bus and literally hit our bus like head on like this. And so the van split in half,
The other van.
The other van. We were in a bus. We're in like an actual
Yeah.
bus here. And so our bus stops, like comes to a halt. And I remember like all of us being woken up like abruptly. And I'm like looking around thinking, what the hell just happened, you know? And I remember like looking out the window and it was nighttime. There's no street lights. Okay. So like I'm relying on the friggin' like light from the moon. That's all I could see. And I remember seeing like trigger warning. Okay. This was my first time seeing dead bodies. So I was freaking out. They were like scattered on the floor. And then
from your window, you could see that
from the bus window. And then I remember my dad got up and I was like screaming because I'm like, where are you going? And he's like one of the only men on the bus. So he had to go help to see if he could save any of the people. There was like someone that was stuck on the, like in between the two halves of the van. So he gets down and he's trying to help one of the guys. I still remember the story. He was trying to help the guy out and he was like barely alive. And then they were like, him and some other guys were trying to pull him out and then he like died on the spot. It was very sad. And then all I remember, because this was so long, this was 20 years ago, literally 20 years ago, some random pickup truck came and we get in the back of this pickup truck and he takes us to Nazareth to go to my cousin's like grandma's house. And so we stayed there. And I remember being so traumatized by that experience that every other time that I've gone back home, I absolutely refuse to take a bus between Addis to any of the other cities. I always fly. And I remember when I was explaining this to my aunt, she like called me bougie and spoiled. And I was like, I don't care. It's called trauma. Okay. So allow me. But yeah, so I don't really know if like drunk driving is prevalent in Ethiopia. Like I never really thought
I feel like it's more prevalent than you think.
Really?
Yeah, because they have no rules. They probably have rules against it, but because of how like corrupt the whole system is over there, I feel like people just do whatever they want.
But the crazy thing is the driver and the guy who opens the door for the passengers lived.
Yeah, that was the craziest part because usually the guy who opens the door is not even sitting down for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
like I guess it was a long drive, or I don't know where they were coming from.
Yeah,
but usually they're like, if they're sitting down, they're sitting on like a milk crate.
Yeah,
next to the door.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, on our way back, we took another bus back to Addis after the end of our trip, and I remember we passed by that scene, and you just see like. You know how here when we get into people get into accidents, they put sand. Yeah, they did the same thing there. Oh, okay. I think it's like took. First of all, it was like the middle of nowhere, but I'm pretty sure animals.
Oh yeah, definitely
come by to wild animals, so they're probably trying to cover the scent of the blood and stuff. But
yeah, I'm surprised that you had that reaction where you never would want to take a bus because it would just show me how safe the bus is compared to the vans. Like I would never take a van after that. I would take a bus, but I would never take a van.
Oh, I would no. I would never take a van. Are you kidding me? Never. And I remember when we went in 2012. Yeah. I did the drive from Addis to Diredua only because our cousin drove the car and he had like it was like a just our family. It was a private car. Yeah. You know, Mami. Yeah. He had one, so I was like, honestly, I'd rather just take the plane. He's like, you're so spoiled. I'm like, it's called trauma. Let's not mistitle it.
Yeah. One thing about back home is that there's no such thing as mental health.
They don't even know what that is.
They don't know what trauma is.
I don't know. Maybe they might know what it is.
Well, if they know what it is, they'll definitely ignore it. Yeah. Yeah. They'll act like it's nothing.
So I was forced to go on the car ride.
Yeah. And actually, one other thing about Ethiopia, I don't know if we want to move on from that story. I just want to mention something else. Yeah. Is like, okay, when I was in Ethiopia, I thought I had to fight somebody because... You haven't seen your parents, you haven't seen your aunt and uncles, your cousins for like years, 5-6 years, for me 11, 12. And the first thing that comes out of their mouth for you and for my sister were like, y'all gained weight.
Yeah, literally.
Y'all are fat. I'm like,
they
do I have to fight somebody?
They have no remorse.
No remorse at all. Like the fact that it was the first like few things they said, it's like, hi, you gained weight.
Yeah, that's, like, that's literally how they greet you. And I think the first few times that I've gone, it like really affected me. But this time around, like I was just so used to, like I knew how that they were gonna say that I was just like, I mean, so did the rest of the world. It's been COVID for the last 2 years. I've been at home. I don't know what else to tell you.
I feel like you maybe took it better, but like I could see because I was looking at Gizmo.
I know it bothered
like
her.
She looked like she was about to fight somebody.
She was like,
Yeah.
I gained weight, so did you.
Exactly. I think she actually made some comment. But like the way that there's no like shame in like what you say to another person when it comes to commenting. I guess over there maybe like weight is not how it's treated over here. Like over there it's like just a regular everything. It's like if you're gaining weight, they'll talk about it like a daily conversation thing. And over here you do, but like with like safeguards, if that makes sense. Like you won't outright be like, why are you getting fat? What happened to you? That kind of thing. Like,
I don't know what it is. Like there were some relatives that just didn't comment on my weight, even if they were thinking about it.
Yeah.
So shout out to y'all for protecting my feelings if you're listening to this.
Yeah.
But some of them, they just don't care.
No. And
They'll
like
just say
no hesitation at all.
Literally, our uncle said it to us before, like as we were being picked up at the airport.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
I
was like
I
the
didn't even
first
hear
thing.
that one.
No, he like said it to me like as he was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Damn, do I look that big?" Like,
Exactly.
shit.
So like it shows
What's
you.
wrong with you?
It more surprised me that it wasn't something that came up in conversation afterwards, and it was the first thing that came to mind. It's almost like a child. Like you know, how a child when they're young,
Yeah, they have no filter.
they have no filter. It's Ethiopians or not Ethiopians. Sorry, I don't want to generalize like that, but like people in Ethiopia,
Ethiopians.
like they have that similar idea of like no filter of what you're thinking. Like the first thing that comes to mind is what you say. But the weird thing is that there's also like a huge culture of respect. So maybe it just comes down to where you fall in line in the hierarchy. Like if it's your ummah, you're not going to mention, or maybe they will, honestly. I don't know.
Oma didn't say anything to us.
No, I mean like if they were speaking to someone like an elder, they might not mention something like that. But if they're speaking to someone under them, like their niece or nephew or like their kids, then they might mention like that, something like that without any filter.
Maybe that could be it. But you know, it also like I was reflecting on this week because you know I love a good reminiscing session, you know, just looking at old photos and stuff.
Yeah.
And I looked at my photos from the last time I went to Ethiopia, and I was there for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And anyone who goes back home, you know that because our fragile Canadian or North American stomachs cannot handle the beautiful organic food of Ethiopia, 9 times out of 10 we get sick, and we end up living off bread and tea, and so we're severely malnourished.
Yeah.
And like somehow
I lost 10 pounds.
Yeah, like you lose weight there.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the photos of me that my brother took of me as he picked me up from the airport coming back after my 8-week trip, and I was so skinny, but I vividly remember how severe my body dysmorphia was then, and even before then, like all the times that I thought I was like the fattest person on this planet, and I actually was not at all.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, you know, not that I'm trying to reverse my, like, it's probably gonna take a lot more work than just trying to reverse your body dysmorphia. But even now, like, as they were saying it to me, I remember thinking like, damn, am I that big? Like, how big am I really? And there's not that many mirrors around, so you can't really check yourself out. You're just hoping.
Actually,
that, like,
that's the one thing about Ethiopia is like I think there was one time for 2 days I didn't see myself in the mirror. Yeah, I think when you were in Hutter.
I had like a little tiny one this big, so I was just like trying to like, Mom, hold this for a sec. Can you just like hold this back for me?
Yeah, when we were in Hutter, like I at one point I was like, I have to see what I look like.
You had a mirror, you just never noticed it.
I never knew it. I never knew it was there. So I think it was the day we were leaving because we got there, and like 2 days later, I was like, I haven't seen what I look like in 2 days. So the only time I actually saw what I somewhat looked like was in a picture. I was like, oh, I look all right. So I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, I'll look back at photos. I'm like, oh, that did not look good. Brush my brows or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So thankfully, like my skin was fine when I was there. So I was like, okay, whatever.
My skin.
Yeah, Ethiopia did not treat you well.
It was. You know what? No, Ethiopia did help.
Yeah.
I don't think I've addressed it on this podcast though, because like y'all are seeing us on a weekly basis, okay?
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, like I don't always wear makeup for these episodes just because it's just a lot of work, okay? It's just too much work. Sometimes I do it. Depends on my mood.
To you, like, raw, okay?
Yeah. And I decided to jump on the retinol train. And the retinol did me
What's retinol?
It's a like sort of like medicated ointment that you put on your skin to help improve the overall texture, wrinkles, the appearance of your skin.
Yeah.
Dark spots, all that. It's supposed to be something that makes your skin look better.
Yeah.
But it makes it look worse before it looks better.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that I had like resilient skin, as in I could do anything to it and nothing would happen. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case this time, and I was very heavy-handed with my application. You're supposed to use like a pea-size amount.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't care. I'm going to use all of it. So I like not all of it, but like I use more than I should.
Yeah.
And my skin, you've been seeing me like how like it's kind of sort of getting better a little bit.
Now it's better, at least in my eyes.
But it was like I was struggling, okay? And I had to go to Africa. So not only were people commenting on my weight, but they're like, what happened to your face? I'm like, oh, get me out of here. Like, you guys are making me so insecure about everything. Like, I don't even want to leave.
Damn, I didn't even hear that part. I think I had ringing in my ears already at that point.
But yeah, so now you guys know, like, I've been struggling, okay? But, you know, hopefully...
You gotta keep it simple, man. Do the guy thing. Wash your face with water. And sometimes maybe soap.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, like, if you're in the shower, then maybe you'll use soap.
What?
Yeah. But
you don't use face wash otherwise?
No. But then again, I take a shower almost every day, so...
What kind of soap do you use on your face? Like your body soap?
Body soap. But, guys, I have improved. Yesterday... I found a bottle randomly.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I bought.
No. I found it of the facial. What's that thing you do to wash your face with? The facial
wash.
Yeah, but like what is it called? Face cleanser. I found cleanser. Yeah, and I was like, okay, and I put it into the shower. So now I have face cleanser.
Do you use it?
Yeah, I used it once.
Okay.
It's
better than nothing.
And that was yesterday, so I used it yesterday.
But I'm now on my back on my skin journey.
Yeah.
And weight loss journey. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
I'm surprised I actually lost that much weight in Ethiopia. Like 10 pounds. I think it's mainly because like maybe a lot of it was muscle.
We were walking a lot too, though. Oh yeah, probably for you.
Yeah.
But like, for me, it's because
we were walking a lot. Like I think I was
SHIT-ing our guts out.
Yeah, definitely that. Thankfully, like I got these pills before we left. That somewhat protected me from that. So I only really got sick once, and I think that was because I stopped taking the pills like halfway through the trip.
Because you're like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need them, and I was like,
yeah, exactly. And then literally like a few days later, it started affecting me. But even then, it was only for like 2 hours, and then after that, I was fine.
Oh, I was not fine.
Yeah, but I'm still surprised that even without like having to go to the washroom 20 times a day, I still lost 10 pounds. But I think it's mainly also because we weren't eating as much protein. We weren't eating regularly, if that makes sense. Like there was a time where we didn't eat all day, and we ate like one meal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that plays a big part of it, because just to keep what my weight was at before, I would have to eat like double what we were eating there.
Dang.
Yeah, and I don't eat that much here. It's just that it's the type of food. Yeah. And like how much calories comes in it. But yeah, it definitely played like a big part in it. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting experience in Ethiopia. Like I knew y'all got it bad before.
Listen, if y'all gained weight and you're planning to go back home, you better lose it before you go. Like my plan was, I'm gonna lose weight in Ethiopia, but now I have to. Now I know if I ever want to go back home again, I literally have to work out and look my absolute best, look like a model, and then go back home. And that way people will be like, wow, you look amazing, instead of like, damn, what happened to you?
Yeah, unfortunately, that was more my experience.
Wow. Yeah. Y'all see this?
I'm playing. Okay. Oh my God. What else? So here, you know what? Let me, since I'm being all big-headed and stuff, let's get a little vulnerable. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So there's an interesting experience, something you guys got to finally like actually see in action, which was something I always speak about, and that was my social anxiety. And the interesting thing of this is that like you all got to see that social anxiety or any type of mental health doesn't stop at religion. It can affect your deen as well. And what I mean is that we were at a park, and I believe at that time it was either Dhuhr or Asr came in, and we knew that we wouldn't be back by Maghrib, so of course you have to pray outside. So usually in this dilemma, I'm already like my trigger. I'm already triggered.
You're like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable. I can't pray comfortably.
Yeah.
I know that feeling.
It's very like I'm already like on high alert, on edge, and I try and find the most secluded and like hidden place possible. And of course, as we're searching around, like I find a couple good spots. Gizman's like, nah. I was with Gizman or Aisha, my sister at this time, and we were like, oh no. She's like, oh no, there's ants there. And then we went to another spot. It's like, oh, there's too many rocks there. And I was like, I don't care. I'll bear the ants. I'll bear the rocks. These are good spots. But she's like, no. So we literally walk up to like, first off, it wasn't a good spot because it was on a hill, and the grass was like a foot off the ground. So it was like super thick grass, or it felt like it. And it was right next to the entrance where there's big stairs and everybody's walking through there. So when I say that anxiety or any type of mental health, mental block affects you even religiously, is that like you guys tried to rationalize it. So we ended up praying there, but I was so high and like on edge at that point that I couldn't even focus on the prayer itself.
I could tell by the way that you were speaking.
Yeah.
Because, okay, finish your story and then I'll tell you.
I completed the prayer. I tried to focus on it, which is my biggest things. I try and focus on every prayer that I'm doing. I tried to focus on it and get it done, but I was speeding it up to try and get it over with. And then we ended up going back to the cafe where y'all were waiting for us.
When you guys came back though,
yeah,
like I could tell that you were still on edge because Gizman comes back and she was like, oh my God, Amir made us like search high and low for like a prayer spot. Like he wouldn't just pray. Like, and then Amir was like trying to defend himself. So he was explaining himself of like why he wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
But Gizman does not suffer from...
No, I don't want to make Gizman look bad. This is
No. I'm saying like, that's when I really saw the difference in your guys' personality, because she doesn't have social anxiety in that sense. And so she's like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't understand. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like listening to them and they're telling me the story and I'm just like, okay, like, but Amir, like, it's really not like you're in Ethiopia. So it's a Muslim country. Yeah. And I was trying to like rationalize it for him. Like, no one's going to touch you. Like, you're fine here. But he's like, it doesn't matter where we are. Like, I'm not comfortable.
Yeah. Like, the thing is that people try and rationalize mental health issues, but, and I don't even know would anxiety be considered a mental health issue, but like,
it is.
Yeah. But like, people try and rationalize it, but it's the same idea of like someone with depression being like, why are you sad? Just like, you have all these things, just be happy. It's the same thing of trying to rationalize that to being like, why do you have anxiety about praying in public in front of people? Like, this is your obligation. Like, they should know better to like not, it's like, you can't rationalize that type of anxiety no matter how much you try. Like, even the thing is that the person who's usually going through it knows that it makes no sense. Yeah. But they can't get over it. Like, it's like something, it's a mental block that you can't get over.
Yeah, because I remember we tried to tell him, like, we prayed in Laguna Beach in front of all the Trump supporters and, like, they didn't touch us. Yeah. And Amir was like, I know. Like, as soon as you were, like, starting to, like, not necessarily raise your voice, but you were, like, trying to bring your point across, I was like, all right, I get it. I totally get it. So I was like, you know what? Like, that's just how he feels and he's not comfortable. And that's it. Yeah. Like, we just have to accept that.
Yeah. And even my dad was like, yo, bro, you need to go to therapy.
He literally was like, you need to go to therapy, Amir. I was like, damn. He really called him out.
No, but that was just an interesting thing where you guys got to see firsthand how social anxiety affects someone. Even though they can look perfectly normal, like in their mind, they're probably just going through it at the time, trying to like, they call it mask it, but like sometimes you just can't mask it. Like you get to a point where like you have to say something and you have to like be like, okay, I can't do this. Yeah. I still did it, but like now my brain after that's like, was your prayer even valid?
Because you
weren't focusing on the prayer. Did you at one point, like, because when you're praying, one of the obligations or one of the integrals is to have the fear of Allah, or like to I forget how to say it.
Nina.
Yeah, exactly. And my brain's like, did you even have that while you were praying? Is it valid now? So I think afterwards I even made it up just in case.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So it's like, but that's how much it affects me. Like, you have to make sure you don't want to hear the stories of places I've had to pray to like find a good spot. Like,
don't worry. Listen, you know, like I think I was able to resonate with you, and I was able to I don't want to say defend you because it wasn't an argument, but like I understood where you're coming from because I have those same feelings too. When we were in university, we have a prayer room we had one at my university.
Yeah.
You know where I prayed?
Where?
In the stairwell, the dusty ass stairwell where my knees turned white because the floor was cement.
Yeah.
When we literally have multiple prayer rooms,
Yeah.
but I was so uncomfortable that I'd rather just pray in a stairwell where there's nobody there.
And
so
yeah, it's like,
I get it.
Even like it doesn't stop. Like just to get back to that point, it doesn't stop at religion. Like just because something is an obligation, you know that like no matter you have to do it. Like your brain may not be able to get over that mental block and be able to do it. It's just an everyday. You're still human at the end of the day.
I mean, hey, maybe one of your goals for this next, when you're entering your 30s will be to finally go to therapy. Yeah, but that was just a final thing I wanted to mention there. That was kind of an interesting thing that happened while we were in Ethiopia. Because at that point you guys were with us, or we're always together at that point. So I feel like at some point it's going to come up, right? Like something that we speak about, but you never truly see eventually, because most of the time you guys are like, I don't see it. You're such an extrovert, that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it's like sometimes you just can't mask it, guys. And I get that, honestly.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know about you guys, like our listeners, our viewers. I know that, a lot of the viewers on TikTok really resonated with your experiences with social anxiety. But for those of you that watch us on YouTube or that are listening to us on, the audio, we'd love to I think, I don't want to say misery loves company, but it's good to know when other people are also experiencing the same thing as you, because that you're not alone in what you're experiencing. Maybe if you have tips for Amir and myself, because I think we both have some form of social anxiety. Yeah. So, I mean, we'd love to know. We'd love to hear from you guys. Reach out to us, comment on our video below, or send us a DM as you normally do. Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna close this out for y'all.
Okay.
Hopefully, are we ending too early? Are you?
A minute and 12.
Yeah.
A minute and 6, actually.
I think we're good, guys. I know you guys want longer episodes, but like
once we're over our jet lag.
Yeah. A little. What do they say again? Like too much of something, or what's that whole thing? I'm really bad with sayings. If you haven't noticed already, like too much of a good thing can be bad for you.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, even though it's still over an hour. That's a little more than short and sweet. But yeah, thank you again for listening, guys. Remember to follow us on all our socials. Cousin Connection Pod on pretty much everything. Yeah. Even on on YouTube, just make sure you subscribe. Click the notification bell so you get notified whenever we put up a new video.
Leave us ideas for topics if you guys want to hear something specific. Yeah. We'd love to know what you guys would like to hear. I mean, we have our own topics that we come up with on a weekly basis, but if you want us to cover something or whatever it is, let us know and we might just cover it. Yeah. So yeah, again, thank you for listening. We'll see y'all next week, hopefully, inshallah. And bye.